Alright, so I just thought I'd make a video here because people were wondering what my build is and why I do what I do. And so I thought I'd give a little explanation here because I build a little differently than other people. So I prefer mana over life. And the reason is I use energy shield, and we'll get to that here in a second. And I'm also a fire sorceress, which is a little different than the usual. So we'll start off with gear, and then we will explain skills. So here we got Shaco with an Ist. I'm probably going to put a fire facet in there. I have a Shuta with the extra fire damage with a fire facet in there as well. The Chains of Honor. Standard Spirit Monarch. War Traps for the Magic Find. 2 perfect Nagel Rings, Arachnids, and Frostburns. Now, these can be swapped out for E-Trex, and these can be swapped out for SOJs if you need it for a little bit harder stuff. And this can also be swapped out for a Gold Wrap, preferred upped for the extra potion slots. Strength won't be an issue once you get Torch and Annie. I prefer this over Hoto because of the extra damage. Fire scales extremely well off of the flat damage, the numbers. It doesn't pierce or have a high range, so percentage is very effective for fire. My gems, my charms are life and fire, a Geeds. I have a Source Torch and an Annie. And a few life. Because life is not bad. Just because you go energy shield over life doesn't mean that you still don't need life. You hit 0, you die. My offhand is Call to Arms and another Spirit. And my mercenary is currently using a Vamp Gaze that I need to get Ethereal. A Stone. And Infinity. Now, the Infinity, you don't necessarily have to worry too much about the rolls on it. All you need is the Conviction Aura, which doesn't change as a fire sorceress. Now, it's going to remove most of the fire immunes, except for a very select few, in which case the mercenary should have no problems dealing with them. Now, the reason that I also go with the Shuta is because you're able to put the facets in there along with in the Shaco. Like I said, the flat damage is very nice. So flat damage along with the Infinity allows you to pierce and deal a lot of fire damage to enemies that you remove their immunity for. Now my skills are full Fire Mastery, full Meteor, full Fireball, and full Fire Bolt. Meteor also has a scale with Inferno, but that's just for the fire damage on the ground, which we don't care about. We also put 1 point into Frozen Armor, because with bonuses to gear, we're at plus 16 with the 1 point, giving us 110% increased armor. 110% armor for 1 point is worth it. Lightning, we get to teleport. We take 1 into Static Field. And then we put 1 point all the way to get to Energy Shield. And then, Energy Shield you max out. Now, it does have a synergy with Telekinesis. But Telekinesis synergy will be most effective at level 16. After that, you have to make the next jump. I believe it's level 28. It might be 26. So, with a decent amount of gear, I'm at plus 16 skills now. So you only need to put 1 point into that to hit its threshold. Then you scale Energy Shield all the way up until it starts losing the effectiveness, which is when 1 point no longer grants an additional 1 point of Absorb, which I believe is 87 or 88%. After that, it's not really necessary. 80% of your mana will be gone, and then it goes to life. That's the perfect amount. Now, the reason that I prefer Energy Shield is because sorceresses gain more mana per 1 point of energy than they do life. Barbarians are the opposite. For every 1 point of vitality you put in a barbarian, they gain 4 to 5 life. Sorceresses only gain 2. Energy is the opposite. If you put 1 point into energy for sorceresses, you gain 4 to 5 mana, where the opposite is true for barbarians. So, in order to be granted a larger pool of health because of the high energy shield skill that I have, 84%, that means that if you get the numbers about right, where you put on Frostburns and Arachnids help, but most importantly are the Frostburns. 40% is big. Then, by the time all your mana goes to 0, you're still almost at full life. Now, people always say, well, if I get hit, I go all the way down to 0, and I can't teleport out. Well, the thing about that is you also put 1 point into warmth as a fire sorceress. Obviously, everybody should. Now, warmth at this level grants about 15 to 20 mana regen a second. And with 1 point in teleport, it only costs 8. So, in less than a third of a second, if you lose all of your mana, you should be able to teleport out still. And also, if you lose all of your mana, Mana Shield turns off, which means you'll no longer be constantly reset back to 0 if you get hit again. It'll go towards life, meaning it'll give you time to regen a little bit and teleport out. Now, with a call to arms and scaling gear, you find yourself, well, I find myself around 2700, 2800 mana and 900 life. Even in hell, if I lose all my mana, I still can take a hit from something. It brings me low, but I still can take a hit with almost 1000 life. Ideally, you don't get hit. If something hits you, it takes half your mana away, and you just regen mana, use a potion, or just wait, because your mana regen is so very high. And that's kind of the basic setup that I use for my sorceress. If there's any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you if I can. I appreciate everybody listening, and thanks.